All right, let's talk. Yesterday in the team meeting, we talked about creating one habit. And we used Michael Phelps as an example.
That was great.
Right? Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
You're so inspirational.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm only good at a couple things. Remember that. And if that's,
couple or a few?
well, maybe 3,
Okay.
possibly 4.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah. You know, the way I look at it is God gives all of us gifts and he's like, okay, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it's our job to figure out what those gifts are and then use those gifts. You know, it's kind of like the story in the Bible where the master, word in the Bible, sorry, gives each of his servants, one of them 10 coins, another one 5 coins, and one. And then he comes back like, okay, what'd you do with the investment? Right? Those are gifts. What do you do with those investments? What do you do with those gifts? So he only gave me a few. And it's my job to figure out what they are and then use those. So I appreciate your kind words. So anyways, Michael Phelps is someone who could have ended up a statistic. Could have been a dropout because obviously he probably didn't do very well in school, right? Not with all the things that you heard his teachers were saying about him. He could have been a dropout, could have ended up just a number of different places other than where he did.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. And that's all of us. Every single one of us have the same opportunity. What's so cool is when you talk to people, one of the things that I hear a lot is, you know, if I could go back and be 20 years old again, if I could go back and be 30 years old again, knowing what I know now. When I meet people like Aaron, I'm like, oh boy, Aaron, if I could switch places with you, knowing what I know now and redo the last 30 years of my life, what a difference that would make, right? But even me, I'm 58. You know, you're getting old when you have to stop and think about how old you are. I'm 58 years old. There's going to be a point in my life where I'm going to say, wow, I wish I could be 58 again. So the really cool thing is no matter where we are in that conversation, there's going to be a point in your life where you wish you could be the same age you are today. Good news, you are. Now live the next 30 years of your life as if you were doing it, as if it were a do-over. What would you do differently? If I was in real estate, I would master lead generation. That would be my one thing. That would be my 6 hours a day in the pool. Right, Aaron? Yeah. So what I've drawn on the flip chart here is the path from that every single homeowner goes through, whether they're buying, selling. They're going to reach a point about 7 to 10 weeks prior to selling their home or prior to buying a home that they're going to get serious. Everything to the right of that line is transaction. You know, I'm thinking about my wife when I put TC out there. It's not transaction coordinator, it's transaction management. So Monica, that was for you. So everything to the right of that line is transaction management. What we do in order to get their home sold or to get them in a home that they're going to purchase, right? Here's one of the things that I know about real estate today. This job has never been tougher than it is today. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we're having that experience when we're closing a sale where you've got buyer agent, listing agent, loan officer, title company, attorneys, inspectors, appraisers, and nobody's getting along. If you've closed a sale recently, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the Waffle House experience that we talked about in the team meeting yesterday, where everybody is helping one another. They love one another. They care about one another. It's not that. It's the opposite of that. We'll just call it the not Waffle House experience. Anti-Waffle House experience. And a lot of us are experiencing that in real estate right now. It's sad. It really is. So this job has never been tougher. Now, everything to the left of this line over here is lead generation. And this is my 6 hours in the pool. Morning, Nick. This is my 6 hours in the pool. This is where I'm going to focus all of my attention, because if I'm going to master anything, remember, I'm only good at a couple things. My wife would tell you, don't let John handle anything to the right of that line over there because he sucks at that. He'll screw it up. She's right. When we had our team, I would have agents come up to me and they would ask me questions about the contract. And I would say, why are you talking to me? I have no clue. I've never written a contract in 20 years in real estate. I've never read a contract in 20 years in real estate. I've sold over 100 homes a year for 15 years. And I don't know contracts. I don't need to know contracts. Monica knows contracts. I'm really good over here. I'm really, really good at lead generation. I'm just going to fill up our pipeline with listing opportunities and listing inventory. We're going to get those properties under contract. And then I'm going to go, here, now it's your turn. And I'm going to turn everything over to Monica and she's going to take care of it from there. The other gift, I've only got a couple, that God gave me is follow-up. I would say this is my greatest strength. I will follow up forever. I will never give up. No is not a word that lives in my dictionary. You guys know how we ended Survive to Thrive every single morning with time to get to work. And part of time to get to work is follow up forever, because no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No just means not yet. If my parents were still alive and you were to ask them what I was like, Johnny to my family, what was Johnny like when he was little, they would tell you the same as he is today. Complete pain in the ass. And he didn't know the meaning of the word no. So, can that be a gift? Yeah. Now, if you have a child at home who's like that, is it a gift? No, it's not. But you know, it's interesting. My grandfather was my guardian angel. I mean, my parents, they had a hard time with me. I was a pain. Don't forget, it's not their fault. Most of it was my fault. But my grandfather would tell my parents, all of those things that drive you nuts about Johnny are the reasons he's going to be successful later in life. This was 45 years ago. He was a prophet. Too bad my parents didn't listen, but he got it. Now, if I could teach you anything, why do I do what I do? Because I'm passionate about you. I'm passionate about changing other people's lives. So we go through stages in our life from stability, where we're just trying to make it. Well, actually, we start lower than that. We start with survival. And then we go from survival to stability. We're starting to gain a little bit of success. We're paying our bills, and our grocery budget goes from $20 a week to $40 a week. And, you know, we eat something besides Hamburger Helper, ramen noodles, right? Is there actually any food product in that? Different conversation. So we go from survival to stability, and from stability to success, and from success to significance, and from significance to legacy. If I were to draw this on the whiteboard, it would be a triangle. And at the bottom of the triangle, it would be survival. And then we draw a line, and the very next part of that triangle would be stability. And then I move from stability to success, and from success to significance, and from significance to legacy. And about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, before I became a team leader, Nick, I had a conversation with myself and with God and anybody else who wanted to listen that was, what's next? And it was time to move to significance. I had built a very successful real estate business. Monica and I were very fortunate. We were living an incredible life, and it was time to focus on what was next. And what was next is this. So if I could pass on one thing to you, if I could give you a gift and I'd say, here, this is yours, it would be master lead generation, master lead follow-up, master lead generation, master lead follow-up. Figure out the rest later. John, I don't know how to use the MLS. Who cares? You don't have a buyer or a seller. You don't need to know how to use the MLS. Or I haven't, I need to redesign my business cards. Who cares what your business cards look like? Just put your name on a piece of paper and your phone number and hand that out to people. Master lead generation, master lead follow-up. So with that little bit of a lead in, let's get started. Who am I, Diane?
You are an expired listing.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yes, just recently.
Which means I'm mad and I'm going to be a jerk. So when you see me, I don't have 20 different personalities. This is an acting job. When you see me become a jerk, I'm acting. Ready?
Plus, I like spicy number 23. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, John. This is Diane Schuster with Keller Williams Realty.
Go on.
Thank you. Well, the reason for my call today, I noticed that your home recently came off the market.
So let's pause for a moment, because even in role play that threw you, right? Just
Okay.
don't let it, ignore it, go right to ignore me. Ignore me.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Go.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, John. This is Diane Schuster with Keller Williams Realty.
Oh, what? Go ahead.
I noticed your home came off the market, and I'm curious, are you still looking to sell your home?
No, I don't want to sell my home.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. If I had a full price offer tomorrow, would you want me to bring you that offer?
I don't know. Do you have an offer?
Well, that's a great question. And that's exactly why we should get together. It will only take me 15 minutes to pop by, so I could potentially bring you an offer. So how does today at 5 or tomorrow at 4 o'clock sound?
Good job. Got the appointment,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
How do you feel about it?
I feel good, but I feel like you were holding back.
Well, yeah, I was. It was the first call today. I'm not, I'm going to be less of a jerk on the first call than I will be 15 minutes from now. I become more of a jerk as time goes on. Now,
I was actually glad because I was.
Erin, what did she miss? Do you have an offer? Do you have an offer? Go. Come on, Erin, you got to have it ready to go.
Yeah.
Do you have an offer?
That's a great question, and I would have to stop by to see your home.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
You're close.
I know it's.
Erin, do you have an offer?
That's a great question, John, and I wouldn't know until I see your home. It's today at 3 or tomorrow at 4.
There it is. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
There it is. Do you have an offer? Great question. I won't know until I see your home. That's exactly why we should get together.
I didn't say that.
No,
Not the first part.
nope.
Oh.
Yeah, you can watch the highlights on ESPN tonight and you'll see that you missed it. Go.
What are you doing? What?
Call me.
Oh, expired we're doing?
This is day one, right? Just call me. All I want to hear is, hello, John. This is,
Okay, ring.
yeah.
Hi, this is Donna Hartle from Keller Williams.
Hi, Donna.
How are you?
I'm great.
Great. I know you're probably getting a bunch of calls right now. Your house is for sale by owner. And I'd like to see if I can maybe stop by to see if I have a potential buyer.
What's wrong with that? I mean, day one, right? No, Donna, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a real question. My point was, there's nothing wrong with that. My point was, that was awesome.
Yeah.
My point was, well, let me ask you a question. How many of those conversations have you had?
Like 15.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And has anybody given you an appointment yet?
4. But then I get stuck there and now they don't do anything after.
Help is on the way. What did I tell you I'm really good at?
Yeah.
This is why you're here today. Okay? Start over. Do it again.
Okay. Can we start with the next process?
No,
The
start from the
follow-up?
beginning.
Okay. Ring.
Yes, hello.
Oh, hi, this is Donna Arnold from Keller Williams. I see your house is for sale by owner.
Yep.
Yes, I'd like to see if I can stop by for 15 minutes just to see what your house looks like in order to see if I have a potential buyer.
I don't want to list my house.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. But if I brought you an offer, would that be acceptable?
Sure.
Okay, well, would I be able to come maybe today at 4 or tomorrow at 5?
Tomorrow at 4.
Okay, perfect. I'll call you tomorrow and follow up and confirm the appointment.
All right, you've got the appointment. Very good. Is it okay if I take a detour here and help Donna out for a moment? Great. I'm impressed. All right, every day we're going to make lead generation calls. The standard for me is 20 conversations. And our focus is to put opportunity into our pipeline and new contacts into our database. And you're going to work 250 days times 20 conversations every day equals 5,000 conversations a year. And the standard is 1 new person in your database every day. And 1 new opportunity in your pipeline every day, Donna. So here's the 4 appointments that you've been on so far. They live here. They're in your pipeline. Now, over a year's time, if you have 1 a day, that's going to be 250. Now, the next step, right? The next step is follow up, right? The reason we make the call is to get the appointment. The purpose of the appointment is to create a foundation to follow up from. Where most real estate agents get this wrong, where most real estate agents go sideways, is they think the reason for that appointment is to get a listing. That's not the reason to get a listing. Now, when you go on the appointment, I want you to write this down. When you go on the appointment, the homeowner is asking themselves 3 questions about you. The 3 questions they're asking themselves about you are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And do you know what you're doing? Now, I'm going to convey the answers to those 3 questions the following way. Number 1, I'm going to call ahead of time to confirm the appointment, and I'm going to show up on time. Number 2, I'm going to dress professional, and I'm going to make a great first impression. We call that our Kodak moment. You've got 10 seconds to make a great first impression. So in other words, Donna, if I were to knock on your door, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to wait for you to open the door. You open the door. Hi, Donna. My name is John Dietz. We had an appointment today at 4 o'clock, and it's 4 o'clock. May I come in? That's the script. I'm going to step right in your front door. Very first thing I'm going to say is, wow, you have a beautiful home. I'm so excited to be here. Before I go any further, would you like me to take off my shoes? I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be courteous. I'm going to make a great first impression. Now I have a notebook in my hand, and I'm going to ask you, Donna, what I would love for you to do now is to take me on a tour of your house. And I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to take lots of notes, because this is the information I'm going to use to help you sell your home. We good so far? Okay, now as we tour your home, write this down. Like their home. Be enthusiastic about liking their home. I've been on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of appointments. It's probably in the thousands. And I've had many homeowners tell me, John, so-and-so was at my house last week and they didn't even like my home. Why would I hire them? My response was always, I have no idea. I love your home. Hire me. So like their home. Your job is not to go through their house and tell them everything that's wrong with their house. Most real estate agents who are hung up on how great they are think that it's their job to walk through the house and tell the homeowner everything that's wrong with their house. I mean, they'll walk into the kitchen and go, holy cow, purple wallpaper, seriously? What were you thinking? That's got to go. Yeah, I know. I can tell by the look I got that she's like, really? People do that? Yes, people do that. So like their home, be enthusiastic about their home, take lots of notes, talk as you take notes. In other words, beautiful updated kitchen, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, travertine floors. Holy cow, you have a beautiful kitchen. I'd spend a lot of time here. Hardwood floors, crown molding. You've got brand new windows. Wow. When did you put in the new windows? How old is your AC system? Your home is 25 years old. How old is the roof? I'm asking questions that a buyer would ask. I'm taking notes and I'm asking questions and I'm enthusiastic about your house. Now, the key to success on this appointment is the exit conversation. So write down, I win the listing at the exit conversation. Now, the exit conversation is, we're standing at your front door. Donna, before I leave, I'd like to ask 2 questions, if that's okay. Donna's going to say, sure, of course, go ahead. And my response is going to be, you know, Donna, in my experience, most for sell by owners have a game plan for how long they're going to sell their home by owner before they hire a professional like me. Now, take your eyes off your notes for just a second, because I want you to see this. Most homeowners that are selling their home by owner have a game plan for how long they're going to sell their home by owner before they hire a professional like me. It's an embedded command, hire a professional like me. It's important, right? And I ask you what your game plan is. They're going to tell you. They're going to say 30 days or 2 months, or if it's not sold this weekend, we're listing it on Monday. Don't be surprised when you hear that. You're going to hear that. By the way, if you don't ask this question, they're not going to volunteer. Hey, by the way, if we don't sell the house over the weekend, we're listing it on Monday. But because you asked, you're going to find out. Perfect. My goal now is to help you find a buyer and get your home sold. Now, if I can ask just one more question. And Donna's going to say, yes, go ahead. And my response is going to be, you know, again, in my experience, most for sell by owners are selling their home by owner in order to save on the fee. Is that the reason you're selling your home by owner? Nick, what's she going to say? She's going to say, yes. Yeah, of course. My response to that is, Nick, that makes sense. And I know when I scheduled the appointment, you shared with me that if a real estate agent brought you a buyer, you would pay them 3% to represent the buyer in the sale of your home, correct? Absolutely. So the difference between selling your home by owner and working with a professional like me is just 3%, not 6%. That's called dropping a bomb. Just let it lay there. Because prior to that conversation, they're calculating 6%. They've already told themselves if they're selling a $500,000 home that it's going to cost them $30,000 to hire a realtor. It's not going to cost them $30,000 to hire a realtor because they're already paying $15,000. It's only going to cost them $15,000 to hire you. Now, if I see opportunity, and opportunity shows up as frustration. If I see opportunity, the next part of the difference between selling your home by owner and working with a professional like me is 3%, not 6%. Just curious, if I could show you how I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that? Now, if I don't see frustration, I'm not asking that question because I'm not there to list their house. But if I start to see frustration, I'm going to ask, hey, if I could show you how I could sell your home for more money and less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that? Now, if I don't see frustration, I'm going to close with, so Donna, before I leave, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. You have a beautiful home, positive it's going to sell. Before I leave, I just want to share with you that I'm really good at follow-up. I'm super persistent, but I'm not pushy. So I'm letting them know I'm going to call. I'm going to be a pest. Now, I'm going to be nice about being a pest, but I'm going to be a pest. Now, Donna, watch this. The day after I view their property, first call, the very next day. Donna, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you yesterday. You have a beautiful home. I'm confident it'll sell, and I just wanted to check in and see if you have any questions for me. That's it. Now, the following week, call number 2. Hi, Donna, this is John Dietz with Keller Williams Realty, following up as promised. Every call starts with, this is Donna with Keller Williams Realty, following up as promised. You're letting them know that you keep your promises, and you're letting them know that you're good at follow-up, because their number one complaint against real estate agents is they don't communicate, they don't follow up. You're letting them know that you're different. The rest of the conversation is just checking in. How are things going? Is your home still available? Do you have any questions for me today? Is there anything that I could do to help you today? The next week, call number 3. It's the same call as the second, as last week's call. In other words, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is Donna with Keller Williams Realty, following up as promised, just checking in. How are things going? Is your home still available? Is there anything I can do for you today? The next week, call number 4. It's the very same call, except now I'm going to ask, have you had any offers on your home? What kind of feedback are you getting? Now, after I've called once a week for 4 weeks, I'm going to back down to once every 2 weeks. So now 2 weeks later, I'm making the next call. 2 weeks later, I'm making the next call. Now we're 2 months in. By now, it's probably sold in today's market, or they've hired you. However, this could go on for a very long time. My record is 3 years and 89 calls. Now, after month number 2, I'm calling once a month. And I'm calling once a month forever after that. And now the call is just, hey, Donna, John Dietz, following up as promised. How are things going? What can I do for you today? They know why you're calling. You've called so many times, you don't have to tell them anymore. And by the way, they're going to tell you when they're ready to have a listing conversation. You don't have to ask. Nick, does this conversation sound similar? You and I had a conversation like this, right? Yeah.
So calling on the second day and saying that I did a market analysis on your property and I'd like to talk to you about it is not good.
Is that working for you? Is it working for you?
Well, he said, can you email it to me? And
No.
I said, well, I'd rather meet you in person.
There you go.
And he said, all right, call me back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Tuesday he didn't answer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So Aaron's sharing some really good feedback, and I'm late for a huddle call, so we're gonna have to close with this. Call me back on Tuesday. You never agree to call people back. If we were to meet on Tuesday, just out of curiosity, if we were to meet next week, what time of day works for you? Mornings or afternoons? Afternoons. I'm looking at my calendar. I've got Tuesday at 4. Would Wednesday at 5 be better for you? When you agree to call somebody back, you're agreeing to get voicemail for the next 2 months. All right, Zoom people, make it a great day. Hope you guys got value today.